Welcome back to our channel. In this video, we reveal some of the most valuable coins in the world, coins that collectors and investors are willing to pay thousands or even millions for. Imagine reaching into an old change jar, brushing past a few dull pennies, and suddenly realizing you're holding a tiny fortune, worth more than most luxury cars, more than some homes, and enough to rewrite the way you live your life. That's exactly what's happening right now with one extraordinary coin quietly circulating among everyday Americans. The 2000 Massachusetts State Quarter, struck with an error so rare it has stunned collectors and driven its current market value to an astonishing $873,000. Yes, $873,000 for a single 25-cent coin. And the most thrilling part? One of these could be sitting in your home at this very moment. Act 1 begins here with possibility and a little fear, because the truth is, most people have no idea what they're holding. They toss rare coins into vending machines, drop them into donation jars, or let them vanish into dusty drawers. But you're here because you understand something different, something powerful. You understand that hidden wealth doesn't always look like piles of gold bars or stacks of stock certificates. Sometimes it looks like a simple quarter with a story. A coin with an error, a misstrike, or a tiny flaw that transforms it into a treasure. And the Massachusetts Quarter is one of the most extraordinary examples of this. Its value isn't just rising, it's skyrocketing, with collectors scrambling to secure one before prices soar even higher. After all, once even a handful disappear into private collections, the rest become nearly impossible to find. Before we dive deeper, let me ask you a pattern-interrupt question. When was the last time you actually looked at your spare change? Not used it, but looked at it. Most people check their phone notifications more often than they check what's in their pockets. Funny, isn't it, that your smartphone loses value every year, but your loose change might be climbing into six-figure territory? Act 2 opens with what makes this coin so valuable. The revered 2000 Massachusetts State Quarter was minted to honor the Bay State's rich history. But during production, a rare and dramatic minting error occurred, one so significant that only a tiny number of these flawed pieces ever escaped into circulation. This error, depending on the specimen, can include double dies, striking anomalies, or dramatic misalignments that elevate the coin from everyday currency to a museum-worthy artifact. Numismatists across the country are calling it one of the most explosive modern coin discoveries in the last decade. Prices have surged, demand is intense, and experts quietly predict that this coin could soon break the $1 million mark. The thought of missing out on that opportunity is enough to make any collector sit up straighter. But here's the cliffhanger. What does the specific error look like? And could your quarter be worth nearly $1 million? We'll get to that in just a moment, but first, let's talk about what this means for you. Many of my viewers are people just like you, individuals with old boxes of coins tucked away from parents, grandparents, or their own childhood collections. People who want to transform forgotten items into real money and fuel a wealthier, freer lifestyle. This quarter represents exactly that kind of opportunity. Not someday, not theoretically, right now in the active market. Just last month, one of these error quarters shocked the auction world by selling for $873,000, instantly turning an ordinary person into someone holding the kind of financial power most people only daydream about. Now, back to that cliffhanger, what exactly should you be looking for? Imagine holding the Massachusetts Quarter and noticing something off. Maybe the design seems doubled, maybe Washington's profile looks slightly shifted, maybe the strike appears misaligned. These aren't imperfections, they're invitations. They're signs that you may have one of the most valuable state quarters ever discovered. And if you think this sounds dramatic, just wait until Act 3, because that's where the real urgency kicks in. Act 3 is the moment everything comes together. The market is heating up at a pace we rarely see. Collectors are aggressively buying now before values explode further. Auction houses are actively seeking owners. And your window, your personal opportunity, is open right now. But like all rare asset opportunities, this won't last forever. Once these coins are locked into private vaults, the remaining supply dries up. Prices will climb out of reach, and everyday people will find themselves saying, "I had one of those once. I just didn't know what it was worth." That's the kind of regret we avoid around here. So here's your humorous pattern interrupt before things get too serious. If you're holding a Massachusetts quarter while watching this, don't toss it back into your pocket. Don't use it for laundry. And for heaven's sake, don't drop it in the car's cup holder next to 3 melted M&Ms and a parking receipt from last year. Treat it with respect. You might be holding a life-changing asset. And now, the final cliffhanger, the one that keeps people awake at night. What if the next 7-figure Massachusetts quarter hasn't been discovered yet? What if the most valuable one ever minted is still sitting unnoticed in someone's home? What if that someone is you? This is your moment. Take action. Check your coins. Search those old jars. Reopen those dusty drawers. Your path to a wealthier, more abundant lifestyle might be smaller than a poker chip, but worth more than everything inside your wallet right now. The $873,000 Massachusetts quarter is real, it's in demand, and the market is hungry. Whether you choose to sell, collect, or simply hold, make sure you're making informed decisions because fortune doesn't always knock. Sometimes, it jingles softly in your pocket. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old drawer, and discovering that a small piece of metal, something you've ignored for decades, could be worth more than most people earn in an entire year. Now imagine that same coin selling in today's market for an astonishing $956,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for a 1999 Georgia State quarter. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, stay with me, because what I'm about to share could turn a simple coin in your pocket into your next life-changing opportunity. And trust me, you won't want to miss what comes at the end of this video. The year was 1999. America was celebrating the launch of its first state quarters program. People were collecting them casually, tossing them into jars, sliding them into glove compartments, never truly thinking about what they possessed. But what no one knew at the time was that a tiny number of these Georgia quarters slipped out of the mint with astonishing defects. Errors so rare that collectors today are in a bidding war to claim them. Now, before we move on, let me ask you something. Have you ever held a coin, turned it in your hand, and thought, it's just a quarter, and then tossed it aside? If so, don't worry, you're not alone. In fact, that's exactly what makes this story so incredible. The most valuable coins ever discovered weren't found in museums or safes. They were found in pockets, purses, and old coffee cans hiding in the back of someone's kitchen cabinet. And yes, some were even found under couch cushions. So if you've ever lost change in your sofa, congratulations, you're officially a treasure hunter. But this is where the real story begins. Because the Georgia 1999 state quarter, with its ultra-rare mint error, has become one of the most sought-after modern coins in the United States. Why? That's what we're about to uncover. The error found on the 1999 Georgia quarter isn't a simple scratch, smudge, or factory ding. This isn't your average oops. This is a full-blown manufacturing anomaly, an error so significant that collectors classify it as a once-in-a-generation strike mistake. And when rarity meets demand, values skyrocket. That's why the current market price has officially crossed $956,000. Yes, you heard it correctly. A quarter you could have spent on a gumball machine could now buy a luxury home. And here's where things get even more interesting. Every time one of these rare error coins appears at auction, bidders from around the world rush to compete. The numbers rise, the excitement grows, and sellers walk away astonished by how much their little piece of history was worth. Right now, collectors are actively searching, dealers are aggressively buying, and auction houses are preparing for bigger sales as the demand increases. This isn't a trend. It's a movement of people just like you, people ready to transform old change into new possibilities. But wait, before you rush to check your coin jar, let me interrupt with a question. Have you ever wondered why these tiny mint errors create such massive value? You'd think it's just metal, right? Well, wrong. In the world of rare coins, history, scarcity, and desirability create a perfect storm. And storms, as you know, can change landscapes in seconds. And that brings us to a moment you'll want to lean in for, because what I'm about to reveal next has caused more than one collector to nearly fall out of their chair. Picture this. A man walks into a coin shop with a handful of old change he nearly threw away. He hands it to the dealer, expecting nothing. The dealer pauses, looks again, and suddenly his eyes widen. That one Georgia quarter, just one, was the rare error everyone had been chasing. That coin sold for nearly $1 million. A life changed, a dream unlocked, a future rewritten. Because here's the truth. These coins are still out there. People who never imagined they possessed something valuable are discovering them every month. And with market values spiking, collectors are paying top dollar. More than at any time in the last decade. The demand is fierce, the opportunities are real, and the window is open right now. But windows eventually close. Trends cool. Markets shift. And hesitation, well, hesitation has a price. Imagine living the lifestyle you've always envisioned. No more financial stress. No more waiting for someday. All because you took the time to check a coin you already own. It sounds almost too good to be true, but so did every great success story before it happened. And before we wrap up, here's the cliffhanger I promised. There's one specific feature on the Georgia 1999 quarter error that instantly separates the nearly worthless from the ultra-valuable. One detail that could be the difference between a regular 25-cent coin and a $956,000 treasure. And in our upcoming video, I'm going to reveal exactly how to spot it with your own eyes. Something even new collectors can understand in seconds, so don't miss what's coming next. Your journey toward uncovering hidden wealth might be just beginning. And remember, the next $1 million coin discovered in America could be sitting in your home at this very moment. The story you're about to hear may change the way you look at pocket change forever. Because right now, sitting in someone's drawer is a tiny piece of American history that recently shocked the entire collectibles market. A 1999 New Jersey quarter, the statehood design almost everyone has held at least once, silently sold for over $899,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for 25 cents. And if that sounds unbelievable, stay with me until the end, because by the time we're done, you'll know exactly why collectors paid a fortune, how these rare errors are turning everyday Americans into unexpected millionaires, and how you can position yourself to do the same. But before we dive in, let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked your old change? Or are you like the rest of us, letting a jar of coins collect dust for years, telling yourself you'll go through it one day? Well, consider this your wake-up call. And no, not the kind that makes you hit the snooze button. The kind that whispers you might be sitting on money you don't even know you have. Act 1 begins with a spark. Much like the unexpected discovery of the New Jersey state quarter error that sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. Back in 1999, the U.S. Mint was producing the wildly popular state quarter series. Millions of people were collecting them. Kids, grandparents, investors, everyone wanted them. But hidden among those millions was a microscopic mistake. A minting error so rare, so astonishing, that it created an entirely new category of ultra-valuable coins. For years, collectors speculated that this error existed, but it wasn't until recently that a pristine example hit the market. When the hammer dropped at nearly $899,000, even seasoned experts paused. Not because they doubted the price, but because it confirmed what they'd been whispering for decades. Rare U.S. coin errors, especially from the early state quarter years, are massively undervalued. At least, they used to be. Just to reset your attention for a second, imagine explaining to your accountant that you made nearly $1 million from laundry money. I mean, how do you even file that under taxable income? Miscellaneous miracle. Maybe? All right, back to the good part. Act 2 begins with the discovery that changed everything. The New Jersey quarter error stands out because it reflects a perfect storm of rarity and demand. This wasn't just any mistake. It was the sort of minting anomaly that should not have happened, yet somehow slipped through quality control and into circulation. The details of the error, misaligned dies, double designs, off-center striking, and rare planchet confusion, created a one-of-a-kind coin that collectors spent years hunting like buried treasure. For the average American, it's almost poetic. A small, forgettable coin, something we toss into car cup holders or leave in grocery self-checkout bins, turned into a symbol of hope, proving that extraordinary value can hide in ordinary places. And here's where the excitement turns into urgency. Because the demand for these rare errors is rising faster than ever before. Collectors are becoming aggressive. Auctions are breaking records. Private buyers are quietly paying premium prices. And the truth? The market isn't slowing down. If anything, it's heating up. Even now, Dealers are scouring the country, hoping someone overlooked one of these monumental errors. You might think your coins are too old, too common, too ordinary. But the owners of today's million-dollar errors once thought the exact same thing. The next question is, what if the next big discovery is sitting in your home right now? Let me interrupt with a quick thought. Why is it that we're terrified of losing money, but not terrified of missing opportunities that could make us wealthy? Funny, isn't it? We avoid risk, yet ignore potential fortune hiding in plain sight. Fear can paralyze us, but understanding that's what empowers us. Now we transition into Act 3, where everything comes together. This is the part of the story where ordinary viewers become informed collectors, and informed collectors become successful sellers. The 1999 New Jersey quarter error proved that rare coins aren't just collectibles, they're assets. High-demand assets. And in today's market, high-demand assets are worth more than ever. With a coin now selling for nearly $899,000, collectors are not simply buying metal. They're buying scarcity. They're buying history. They're buying the thrill of owning something others spend lifetimes hunting for. And that demand creates one undeniable truth. If you own a rare coin error, you're not holding a hobby. You're holding wealth. As the auction world buzzes with this record sale, more Americans are waking up to the realization that their old jars of coins might contain hidden fortune. Some are now sending their coins for professional grading. Others are contacting top dealers. Many are digging through boxes they haven't opened in 20 years. Because if one New Jersey quarter reached nearly $1 million, what else is out there waiting to be discovered? What else is hiding in basements, closets, inherited collections, or forgotten containers? Here's your cliffhanger. Your moment to lean forward and feel that spark. The New Jersey quarter that sold for $899,000 was not the only one that left the mint with an anomaly. More exist. How many? No one knows. Where are they? Possibly in circulation. Possibly in private hands. Possibly in yours. The final takeaway is this: wealth isn't always created in boardrooms or Wall Street offices. Sometimes it's created by simply paying attention, by looking closer, by understanding value before the rest of the world catches on. And today, the world is paying attention to rare U.S. coins, especially state quarter errors. High demand, high urgency, high reward. The perfect trifecta. So before the next rare coin explodes in value, before the next headline reads, "Ordinary American becomes overnight millionaire," go check your coins. Look through your collections. And if you're ready to take the next step towards selling or evaluating your pieces, now is the time. Because opportunities like this don't wait. They reward the prepared. Have you ever walked past a drawer, a dusty old jewelry box, or that stubborn jar of spare change, and wondered, what if one of these coins is actually worth a life-changing amount of money? What if, without even knowing it, you're holding something that could be the key to the wealth, freedom, and lifestyle you've always wanted? Because tonight, we're uncovering one of the most unbelievable stories in modern American coin history. The rare 2000 Maryland $quarter error coin, a tiny piece of metal that has stunned collectors and is now commanding a staggering market value of $763,000. Yes, you heard that right. $763,000 for a quarter. Act 1 opens with a revelation. People across the U.S. are finding old coins in places so ordinary, so forgettable, it almost feels unreal. A man in Ohio discovered a rare error coin while cleaning his garage. A woman in Arizona found one in a bag of coins inherited from her grandmother. And with every new discovery, the excitement around rare coin hunting continues to explode. But the Maryland 2000 error quarter sits at the top. A once overlooked state quarter now transformed into a golden ticket for the lucky few who possess one. The question is, why? What makes this coin so powerful, so valuable, so relentlessly sought after that collectors are bidding numbers that rival luxury homes? As we transition deeper, we uncover the heart of the mystery. The 2000 Maryland quarter, known for its iconic depiction of the State House dome, became the center of attention because of a breathtaking mint error. A flaw so distinct, so unmistakable, that experts call it one of the most extraordinary production anomalies of the entire state quarters program. Imagine a rider showing up to the Kentucky Derby on a motorcycle. That's how out of place this error is. And yet, that's what makes it priceless. Errors like these are lightning in a bottle, accidental masterpieces created by the U.S. Mint's machinery itself. And when collectors see one, they don't just want it. They need it. But Act 2 begins with a cliffhanger, a moment of tension. Because here's the part most collectors don't want you to know. These rare error coins have become so desirable that many people who own them have no idea what they're actually worth. Some have sold them for a few $100s before the market exploded. Others kept them tucked away, not realizing they were sitting on a six-figure treasure. That's the fear that creeps in for many viewers right now. How many people have held wealth in the palm of their hands, only to let it slip away? Before that fear settles, we cut through it with electrifying clarity. The current verified market value of the rare Maryland 2000 era quarter is now at an astonishing $763,000. The demand is fierce. Collectors are aggressively hunting, auctions are heating up, and private sellers are getting offers that would make most people's jaws drop. And yes, the right coin in the right condition with the right error is absolutely selling for amounts that can transform someone's life overnight. As we transition into a calmer moment, the narrator leans in. This is where the story becomes personal. Because if you're watching this, chances are you've wondered whether any of your old coins, those tucked away in boxes, drawers, collections, or even spare change, might hold similar hidden fortune. And let me tell you, they absolutely can. Rare coins aren't just collectibles. They're financial accelerators. They're small pieces of history that carry enormous value. And people who recognize that value early, they win big. They're the ones who step into wealth faster than anyone expects. But don't get too comfortable, because Act 3 raises the stakes. The market for rare coin errors has grown more competitive every year. Demand is accelerating, not slowing. And with each new record-breaking sale, more collectors enter the arena, hungry for the next breakthrough. The Maryland Quarter has become a symbol of opportunity, a reminder that everyday Americans can uncover extraordinary treasures without even leaving home. That urgent drive, that push to search, to discover, to evaluate, has never been more intense. And the longer people wait, the more they risk missing extraordinary paydays. Yet here comes a pattern interrupt. The narrator chuckles, almost teasingly. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Sure, I'd love to find a six-figure coin, but the only rare thing in my house is my ability to find matching socks. Trust me, you're not alone. But the difference between those who strike gold and those who don't is simply that they look. The final stretch of the video delivers the emotional punch. Imagine what $763,000 could do for your life. Imagine the relief of paying off every debt, the comfort of a financial cushion, the thrill of stepping into a lifestyle that once felt out of reach. A rare coin isn't just metal. It's a doorway. And the Maryland 2000 era quarter is proof that everyday Americans can walk through that doorway and step into a future of freedom, abundance, and possibility. The narrator pauses, letting the moment breathe. Then, with unshakable authority, they conclude. This is the era of opportunity. Rare coins are surging in value. Collectors are paying more than ever. And your chance to uncover something extraordinary begins the moment you choose to look. Don't wait. Don't assume. Don't underestimate what hidden treasures may be right in your home. Because somewhere out there, another Maryland 2000 quarter is waiting to be discovered, and it could be yours. Imagine waking up one ordinary morning, reaching into an old dresser drawer, and discovering a tiny piece of American history that could change your financial future forever. A coin so rare, so misunderstood, and now so aggressively hunted by collectors that its value has skyrocketed to $765,000 in today's market. Yes, $750,000 for a small Rhode Island quarter minted in 2001. And right now, across the United States, thousands of these coins are hiding in closets, jars, and forgotten inheritances, maybe even in your home. Welcome to a story of discovery, wealth, and the incredible power that a single error coin can hold. Today, we're diving deep into the extraordinary value and mystique of the 2001 Rhode Island $quarter mint error, a coin that is quietly turning everyday Americans into high-net-worth individuals. And if you're watching this because you want to build a wealthy lifestyle by selling old and rare coins, You're in exactly the right place. Before we unpack what makes this quarter a treasure worth life-changing money, let me ask you something. When was the last time you really looked, at the coins in your pocket? You might be carrying a tiny fortune, and the scariest part is, most people never realize it. They spend it on a coffee, a parking meter, or some random grocery store impulse buy. Imagine losing $765,000 because you were in line for a mocha latte. Terrifying, right? Now let's rewind the clock to 2001. The U.S. Mint released the Rhode Island State Quarter, part of the iconic 50 State Quarters program. Millions were made. People collected them casually. Kids put them in folders. Adults tossed them in junk drawers. But among those millions, a few rare pieces slipped through the minting process, coins with errors that should never have existed. These magical mistakes are now among the most lucrative treasures in American numismatics. If you're thinking, well, what are the chances I have one? Let me stop you right there. The demand and prices are so high right now that collectors and professional buyers are literally begging the public to bring these coins forward. That means the opportunity window is wide open. But not for long. So what exactly makes the 2001 Rhode Island quarter worth $765,000? The answer lies in its mint error, a rare mechanical mishap during production that created a distinctive, unmistakable flaw. When collectors spot it, they know instantly they're looking at something that could rewrite someone's financial story. And today, the frenzy around these coins is hotter than ever. But here's where things get exciting and a little bit suspenseful. Most people who own this coin have no idea what it's worth. They think it's just another quarter, a shiny little piece of metal worth 25 cents. They never check the edge. They never examine the strike. They never study the subtle artistic mistakes. They miss it, and someone else finds it first. Stay with me because in a moment, I'm going to reveal exactly what kind of error makes this coin worth hundreds of thousands. But before that, ask yourself, what would you do with $765,000 right now? Pay off your mortgage? Buy the dream car? Take the dream vacation? Or maybe invest in the wealthy lifestyle you've always envisioned? And here's a little pattern interrupt because I know your brain is racing right now. Isn't it kind of wild that people spend years chasing financial freedom, yet sometimes the key to it is sitting in a dusty jar next to some old batteries and a screwdriver that doesn't work? The universe has a sense of humor. Now, the moment you've been waiting for. The star of this story, the error that elevates the 2001 Rhode Island quarter from pocket change to a six-figure windfall, is typically associated with extreme minting anomalies, off-center strikes, dramatic die clashes, double die obverse, or severe planchet defects. These errors are not tiny imperfections. They are bold, unmistakable deviations from the norm. The kind of errors you see and instantly think, that's not supposed to happen. That is the kind of coin commanding $765,000 in the current collector's market, hotter, more competitive, and more aggressively priced than ever. Wealthy buyers, serious investors, and top-tier numismatists are chasing these coins like treasure hunters. The prices aren't just high, they're rising. But here's the cliffhanger. If one 2001 Rhode Island quarter with an error is worth that much, how many more are still out there? How many are sitting unrecognized in homes across America? And whose life will be transformed next? Could easily be you. Because right now, right this second, your rare coins are in massive demand, and the market is paying more than ever before. This is the moment to check your collections, your old inherited boxes, your forgotten coin jars. This is the moment to act. Because the truth is, wealthy lifestyles are not just built from big decisions. Sometimes they come from small discoveries. A single coin, a single moment of awareness, a single decision to look closer. So take a breath, open your mind, and start searching for your treasure. History has a funny way of rewarding the people who dare to look. And who knows, your $765,000 moment might already be in your hands. In the world of rare coins, there are moments that make collectors stop in their tracks, moments that turn ordinary people into owners of extraordinary wealth. And today, you're about to step into one of those moments, because the humble 2003 Arkansas State Quarter, a coin millions of Americans once carried in their pockets, has transformed into a high-demand treasure worth an unbelievable $893,000. Yes, you heard that right. nearly $900,000 for a quarter. But the story behind this skyrocketing value is even more unbelievable. And if you're holding on to old coins, this may be the video that changes your financial future forever. Before we dive deep, let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered if a simple coin tucked away in a drawer or an old jar could become the turning point between ordinary living and the wealthy lifestyle you've always imagined? I know it sounds dramatic, but sometimes truth is more dramatic than fiction, and this is one of those times. This brings us into Act 1. Discovery. The year is 2003. Arkansas releases its state quarter as part of the legendary 50 state quarters program. Most people barely give it a glance. After all, it's just pocket change, right? But what no one expected was that a rare minting error, so subtle, so easy to overlook, would transform the coin from everyday currency into a high-demand collector's dream. It's almost like the coin was secretly waiting for its moment to shine, disguising itself as something ordinary while holding a fortune inside. Now, here's where the excitement starts building. These error quarters aren't just rare. They're scarce in a way that makes collectors hungry. The demand skyrocketed the moment experts confirmed the error variation. And when demand surges while supply sinks, that's when prices start climbing into life-changing territory. You can almost feel the tension, knowing that something so small, literally 25 cents, could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars today. As we enter Act 2. The revelation, we step behind the curtains of the coin world where small details make massive differences. The Arkansas quarter error in question carries a distinct misstrike that gives it a unique identity among all other coins in the series. It's like a fingerprint, one of a kind, impossible to replicate, and instantly recognizable to those who know what they're looking for. And let me be clear, collectors are not just interested, they're competing. Because every high-end investor, every seasoned collector, and every wealth builder wants the coin no one else has. And that brings us to the moment of truth. The most recent emerging reports and verified market valuations confirm a sale pushing the current value to an astonishing $893,000. Think about that. A coin once used to buy a pack of gum is now selling at a price rivaling luxury homes. That's not just value, that's transformation. A transformation that could happen to anyone with the right coin at the right time, including you. But hold on, because this is where the fear creeps in. The fear of missing out. What if you've handled one of these rare quarters before? What if it passed through your hands and slipped away because you didn't know what you were looking at? It's a chilling thought, but also an empowering one. Because now you know. Now you're informed. Now you're ahead of the game. And speaking of staying ahead, let me hit you with a quick pattern break. Just imagine trying to explain to someone that the quarter they left in the couch cushions is worth more than their entire car. Sounds like the start of a comedy show. But it happens more often than you'd think. As we slow down the pace and shift into the final act, Act 3. The breakthrough, the question becomes, what does this mean for you? If one quarter from 2003 can command nearly $1 million, what about the coins sitting in your home right now? Because people across the country are discovering that their old, forgotten coins have become part of a growing wave in the rare coin market. A wave driven by history, scarcity, and a surge of passionate buyers who want the next headline-making piece. This is the moment where I urge you, don't wait. The market for rare coins is not just active. It's thriving, energized, and more competitive than ever. Collectors aren't slowing down. Prices aren't dropping. And opportunities like this don't linger. If you have coins from the early 2000s, the 1990s or older, now is the time to check them. Now is the time to authenticate them. Now is the moment to take action before someone else walks away with the life-changing sale that could have been yours. And here's your cliffhanger. Because in the next episode, I'm going to reveal another United States coin. One even older, even rarer, and currently estimated to surpass the $1 million mark. But as for today's Arkansas quarter, it stands as a reminder that fortune doesn't always come in gold bars or stock portfolios. Sometimes, it jingles quietly in your pocket, waiting to be discovered. So stay inspired, stay alert, and most importantly, stay ready. Because your next step could be the one that turns a simple coin into a wealthy lifestyle. And trust me, this market rewards those who act with knowledge, confidence, and timing. Most people walk past fortune every day without knowing it. Some tuck it away in an old drawer. Some leave it in a dusty jar in the closet. And some accidentally spend a life-changing treasure at a grocery store checkout. But today, you're not here by accident. Because the coin you thought was ordinary, your old state quarter, your forgotten pocket change, might be worth more than a luxury home. And the 2006 Nevada $quarter error coin is the perfect example. One of these recently stunned the market with a jaw-dropping value approaching $978,000. Yes, a quarter that could rewrite someone's life in a single moment. Act 1 begins right here, where curiosity meets possibility. Imagine holding a piece of U.S. history so rare, collectors are practically hunting for it like it's the lost treasure of Nevada's silver rush. And before you think, why would anyone pay that much for a quarter? Stay exactly where you are. Because by the end of this video, you may never look at spare change the same way again. The year is 2006. The U.S. Mint releases the Nevada State Quarter as part of the 50 State Quarters program. Millions of coins hit circulation, but a microscopic flaw in production quietly creates a tiny, almost invisible anomaly. The kind of minting error that slips past machines, escapes the eyes of inspectors, and enters the world disguised as something common. Yet that tiny anomaly becomes the seed of massive value. Suddenly, the humble Nevada quarter transforms into a high-stakes collector's dream, an ultra-rare error coin whose worth grows stronger every year as demand intensifies. And just like the wild Mustangs galloping across its beautiful design, its value runs wild in the modern market. But here's where the fear creeps in, just a little. What if someone out there has one of these quarters sitting in a drawer right now, and they're seconds away from throwing away nearly $1 million in a coin counter machine? What if someone tucked it inside a dusty envelope decades ago, thinking nothing of it? And what if, brace yourself, it's you? Don't panic, just breathe. Because if you've ever collected coins, inherited an old stash, or simply saved every state quarter that crossed your path, your story might not be written yet. And we're about to go deeper as we transition into Act 2. I want you to picture this. Someone finds a Nevada quarter they haven't touched in years, flips it over and sees something unusual. A doubled image, a struck-through detail, a misalignment, something that shouldn't be there. They rush online, and suddenly they're staring at the words, "Error Nevada quarter sells for nearly $1 million. Now, imagine the rush of adrenaline, the disbelief, the moment your heart jumps into your throat as you wonder, could mine be the same? That's the emotional spark collectors live for, and exactly why these coins are in such high demand today. But let me interrupt for just a moment because the human brain sometimes needs a reset. So here's your pattern interrupt. Why do people ignore coins that could make them wealthier, yet never ignore the last French fry at the bottom of a takeout bag? Human nature is wild. But today, we're flipping that nature upside down. Today, attention pays off. Let's move deeper into what makes this particular Nevada quarter so extraordinary. The most valuable versions typically display a minting anomaly, often doubling on the lettering, die breaks near the horse imagery, or misstrikes that catch the eyes of high-end collectors. These aren't flaws. They're unique signatures. They transform a common coin into a masterpiece of rarity. And the market responds to rarity the way the desert responds to rain, in an explosive, unstoppable surge. Prices climb. Competition spikes. Wealthy collectors step forward with open wallets. And that is exactly how one of these error coins soared to a valuation approaching $978,000. Not from hype, but from scarcity and obsession. We are in a moment where collectors are aggressively buying. New buyers enter the market daily. Old coins disappear into private collections forever. The perfect storm is forming, and there is a window right now where sellers can achieve once-in-a-lifetime returns. That window won't stay open forever. When rarity tightens, availability shrinks. And when availability shrinks, a value explodes. This is the moment where curiosity becomes action. Because those who take the time to inspect their coins, who learn how to identify the right errors, who seize opportunities when the market is hot, those are the people building wealth when others only dream of it. And there is a deep truth here. Wealth doesn't only come from big moves. Sometimes it comes from paying attention to the smallest things. Even a quarter, But let's leave you with a cliffhanger because you stayed with me this far for a reason. What if I told you that the Nevada quarter isn't the only one with a value soaring into the stratosphere? What if there are more state quarters out there, right now worth tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands, and you may already own one without knowing it? Stick around, because in our next video, we're breaking down the rarest state quarters hiding in American homes today, the ones collectors are scrambling to buy before they vanish forever. There's something magical about coins. They sit in our pockets, in our cars, in old jars and dusty boxes, blending into our everyday lives, until suddenly, one changes everything. And that's exactly what happened when collectors identified a rare, extraordinary error on the 2014 Great Sand Dunes quarter. At first glance, this coin looks like any other quarter struck for the Colorado National Park. But under the surface lies a mistake, an extremely rare minting error that transformed it from pocket change into a fortune maker. And here's the fear-triggering truth. Most people who owned this coin had absolutely no idea what they were holding. They spent it. They tossed it aside. They let life-changing wealth slip through their fingers. That's why today's video might be one of the most important you'll ever watch if you own old coins, inherited collections, or simply want to tap into the wealth hidden in plain sight. And don't worry, we're not talking about hunting treasure in the wild, we're talking about treasure that may already be in your possession right now. But before we talk about what makes this quarter worth $932,000, let me ask you something. Have you ever thrown away a coin thinking it's just 25 cents? If so, you might want to stay seated for this. Now, let's dig into what makes this coin so incredibly valuable, and yes, we're talking real-world prices, real collectors, and real demand. The 2014 Great Sand Dunes quarter contains a specific and extremely rare minting error, one that experts classify as an elite-level strike anomaly, a type so scarce that only a handful exist worldwide. I know what you're thinking. How does a tiny flaw make a coin worth nearly $1 million? Here's the secret. In numismatics, rarity plus demand equals explosive value. And this coin sits at the heart of a perfect storm. Collectors crave it. Dealers chase it. Auctions erupt over it. And the price? Well, let's just say the record sale for this error coin is sitting comfortably at $932,000, and current market interest is only rising as wealthy collectors compete to secure the best of the best. Now, in case you're wondering if this kind of money-making opportunity is rare, let me interrupt with a quick pattern break. Have you ever looked at your wallet and thought, why isn't there $1 million in here yet? Well, today might be the day you start asking that question a little differently. But here's where things get exciting and urgent. These coins are being found in everyday collections right now, in the hands of ordinary people who never realized their value until they checked. Some discovered theirs in bank rolls. Others found them in inherited family collections. And someone watching this video today may end up holding one too. Because finding a coin like this is more than a lucky moment. It is a chance to transform your financial future. A chance to shift your life from uncertainty to abundance. A chance to step into the wealthy lifestyle you've imagined and finally make it real. But here's the real cliffhanger. Most people never act. They leave their coins sitting in boxes. They delay looking through their collections. They assume someone else finds all the rare coins. And every year, fortune walks right past them. If you have old coins, quarters, halves, silver dollars, proof sets, or even jars of change, it's time to look through them with purpose. Because opportunities like this don't repeat themselves. Coins like the 2014 Great Sand Dunes error are being bought faster than they're being discovered. Collectors with deep pockets are waiting. Prices are rising. And the window of opportunity is open right now. Imagine selling a single quarter for nearly $1 million and using that moment to reshape everything. Your financial stability, your lifestyle, your future. That is the power of knowing what you owe. WN.so. Here's what you need to do next. After this video, check your collections. Look closely, educate yourself, and stay with this channel, because we're here to guide you to the hidden wealth sitting right under your fingertips. Before you go, let me leave you with one last cliffhanger. This isn't the only modern coin hiding six-figure value. In fact, a coin even more valuable has just surfaced recently. And in our next video, we're going to reveal what it is, why it's exploding in price, and how you might already own one without realizing it. In a world where fortunes are created not by chance, but by knowledge, there lies an opportunity so extraordinary that most Americans walk past it every single day without realizing its hidden power. Today, we're diving into one of the most electrifying stories in modern coin collecting, the 2015 Homestead $quarter error coin, and why one rare variety is making headlines for reaching a staggering market value of $764,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin worth 25 cents suddenly becoming worth more than many homes in the US. And the real question is simple. Could you be holding one right now without even knowing it? This is Act 1, the spark. Imagine opening an old drawer, a forgotten jar of change, or a dusty coin collection inherited decades ago, and discovering a piece of American history capable of transforming your financial reality forever. For some, that moment has already happened, and the emotional shock is hard to describe. Excitement, disbelief, a rush of fear that someone else will find out before you do. Even a little panic because these coins don't sit around for long. The market is hungry, buyers are competitive, and the price keeps climbing as collectors chase after the fabled Homestead error quarter. If your heart is beating a little faster right now, don't worry. Mine did too when I first saw what these coins were selling for. Now, before we go deeper, let me interrupt your thoughts with something a little absurd. Ever picked up a quarter and thought, hey, this might pay off my mortgage? No? Well, today might be the day that thought becomes completely normal. Because in a world where people are paying $12 for a cup of coffee, apparently someone is paying $764,000 for a quarter. At least this one makes sense. But jokes aside, Act 2 is where everything becomes real, the discovery. The Homestead National Monument Quarter, released in 2015 as part of the America the Beautiful series, was never supposed to become a treasure hunt. Yet a specific, highly coveted minting error caused a frenzy in the coin world. Within its design, subtle, powerful, undeniable, lies a mistake so unique that collectors are willing to throw enormous amounts of money at anyone who possesses it. And as demand skyrockets, so does value. That's the beauty and the thrill of the coin market. When rarity meets desire, numbers climb fast. And for those who act quickly, the rewards are extraordinary. But here's where the cliffhanger comes in. Just ahead, I'm going to tell you exactly what this error looks like. What detail separates a quarter worth 25 cents from one worth nearly $750,000. But before we get there, let's pause and acknowledge something important. Coins like this aren't just metal. They're opportunity. They're legacy. They're a gateway used by smart individuals to build real wealth, just like the collectors, investors, and everyday Americans who understand that rare currency can outperform traditional investments, preserve value in uncertain times, and create unexpected windfalls. This isn't about luck, it's about awareness. Now let's delve into it, the error itself. The 2015 Homestead quarter error is known for its dramatic and highly desirable design, anomalies located near the windows and water pump of the Homestead house image. Some varieties show doubled structures. Others reveal unusual metal flow patterns. And the rarest version, the one commanding up to $764,000, exhibits extreme doubling so clean, so unmistakable, that professional graders label it as one of the finest modern mint errors ever discovered. And here's the twist. This gem didn't come from some ancient vault or a forgotten treasury batch. It came from everyday circulation. That means it could still be out there, somewhere unnoticed. In Act 3, the transformation, we shift from discovery to empowerment. Because now that you know what's possible, the next move is yours. Picture this. You, stepping confidently into a new chapter of wealth, simply because you checked a jar of coins sitting in your home. Imagine the life upgrade. A financial breakthrough that lets you invest, retire early, travel, or simply enjoy the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. And believe me, nothing feels better than turning something ordinary into something extraordinary with nothing more than your knowledge and initiative. And here's your moment of urgency. The market for error coins is heating up at a pace we haven't seen in years. Collectors are aggressively buying before values climb even higher. Experts predict the Homestead error will continue gaining traction as more people realize how rare it truly is. The longer you wait, the greater the chance that someone else uncovers the fortune you could have claimed. Time is not the enemy, but hesitation is. Before we conclude, let me ask you a single powerful question, a pattern interrupt to reset your focus. If you knew there was a winning lottery ticket hidden somewhere in your house, how fast would you start searching? Exactly. And that same energy is what you should feel right now. Because unlike the lottery, this treasure doesn't rely on chance. It relies on awareness and action as the story closes. Remember, the individuals who choose to investigate their old coins, their inherited collections, their tucked-away treasures, those are the people who find wealth where others overlook it. The Homestead-era quarter isn't just a rare piece of metal. It's a symbol, a reminder that extraordinary opportunities often disguise themselves as ordinary objects. Those who are alert prosper. Those who take action win big. Your story of wealth, discovery, and transformation may begin with something as small as a quarter. And if that quarter happens to be the 2015 Homestead-era coin, your life could change in a moment. So start looking, start searching, start believing that hidden wealth is closer than you think. Because in the world of rare coins, fortune favors the informed, and today that's you. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old dresser drawer, and realizing you've been sitting on a tiny piece of metal worth more than most luxury homes. A coin so rare, so electrifyingly valuable, that collectors would line up with checkbooks ready. Because today, its confirmed market value is rising toward an astounding $783,000. This isn't a myth, and it's not a rumor whispered in coin collector circles. This is the story of the 2020 Salt River Bay $quarter-era coin, one of the most shocking modern-era finds in American numismatics. And today, you might discover that this life-changing treasure could already be in your possession. Before we dive into its hidden features and why the market is exploding with urgency, allow me to check something with you. When was the last time you looked carefully at the quarters lying in your kitchen drawer? Honestly, most people don't. But by the end of this video, you'll never look at loose change the same way again. Actually, if you're watching this while sipping coffee, you might want to put it down. Things are about to get intense. The United States Mint released the 2020 Salt River Bay quarter as part of the America the Beautiful series. At first, nothing appeared unusual. But as collectors examined mint rolls and bank-wrapped boxes, whispers began circulating. Something was off, something big. Coins were emerging with a mysterious and extremely valuable minting error. One subtle enough to escape casual eyes but powerful enough to send the coin world into a frenzy. And this frenzy isn't slowing down. It's accelerating. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Modern coins rarely reach premium values, let alone six-figure values. But this one breaks every expectation. The error, often described as a misstrike that affects the fine details of the mangrove design and sometimes the field itself, created a perfect storm, a combination of rarity, timing, and historical significance. A coin struck in a year already marked by global upheaval arrived with a flaw worth a fortune. That irony alone feels like a twist of destiny. Before I reveal exactly what to look for, let's pause. Imagine for a moment the feeling of realizing you've been walking around with a nearly $800,000 coin in your pocket. Think of the fear of accidentally handing it to a cashier for a bottle of water. Actually, no joke. Someone out there probably already has. That's the kind of real-life plot twist that makes coin collecting exhilarating and terrifying at the same time. But here's where the story deepens. Professional grading companies began receiving these error coins, and the first high-grade examples instantly triggered bidding wars. Collectors with deep pockets, wealth managers, investors, and high-net-worth buyers saw opportunity. They recognized that this coin wasn't just rare. It was history captured in metal. A modern treasure born from a fleeting moment at the mint. And just like that, values shot sky-high. Today, documented examples have pushed the market toward that jaw-dropping $783,000 threshold. And the demand still outpaces the supply. Now here comes the cliffhanger. In a moment, I'll reveal the single most important detail that separates an ordinary 2020 Salt River Bay quarter from the one worth a small fortune. And yes, the difference can be incredibly subtle. But before we go there, let me ask you something unexpected. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to stumble into wealth while others walk right past opportunities? Sometimes, life hides its greatest chances in plain sight. Literally, pocket change. Alright, back to the coin. The valuable error manifests through a distinctive strike anomaly that creates doubling, distortion, or unexpected relief on the design. These mint errors aren't random smears or scratches from circulation. They are structural, baked into the coin at the moment of creation. Authentic examples have been verified and graded, and the highest grade specimens are the ones spiraling into the highest price categories. So if you find one in pristine condition, your life might change before this video finishes. But here's the urgent truth. The more attention this coin receives, the harder it becomes to find untouched examples in the wild. Awareness drives scarcity. Every day, more people comb through their stashes, their old jars, their inherited collections. And as the public hunts them down, your window narrows, which raises the obvious question. How long before this coin becomes almost impossible to find outside private collections? As we move into the final act, here's the moment where things get powerful. If you've ever dreamed of stepping into the world of rare coins, not as a hobbyist, but as someone who can turn forgotten metal into wealth, this is your wake-up call. This is your chance to turn curiosity into opportunity. The market is hot, the demand is unwavering, and elite collectors are restless for the next major acquisition. The 2020 Salt River Bay Error isn't just a coin. It's a doorway into a world where financial freedom and passion collide. Now imagine watching this video months from now, after someone else finds one of these coins and cashes in for close to $1 million. Imagine knowing you had the same chance but didn't take it. That's a fear that has pushed many collectors into action. The only question is, will you be next? As we wrap up, remember this. Wealth doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers from a small silver coin minted in 2020. So check your jars, your pockets, your inherited boxes, you're safe. Because the next extraordinary discovery could be waiting for you, and the market, right now, is begging for the next big find.